Hello guys, can I save this engine? I don't know. A lot of poor maintenance on this car, as you may know by now. That poor maintenance instead caused so many problems on the bottom end of the engine. As you may know by now, I have two bent rods, con rods, and the fact that they are bent, the piston itself is crooked on the cylinder, and the cylinder becomes oval on its shape, not round. That allows the oil to escape to the combustion chamber and thus burning oil. Yes, this car is burning a lot of oil. I'm talking about a liter every week, and I'm doing about 250 kilometers a week. So every 250 kilometers I burn 1 liter of oil. Hooray! So the question is, can I save this engine? I can. Obviously, you can always repair stuff, you can always rebuild stuff. Is it viable? No, it's not viable. Of course it's not. Everything I did so far on this car is not viable, but I want to do so. The question is, I really want, when I purchased this car, I really wanted to do a 1.8 turbo conversion. Very soon I understand that is really difficult to do because there are not a lot of engines and spare parts for that project, and I have the legal issue here in Portugal. We cannot do it, okay? We cannot change the format or the capacity of the engine. It's really difficult or impossible to legalize that as well. That being said, I'm still trying to think in a way to increase the capacity of the engine. If I really have to open the engine again, maybe I will consider doing an 1.8 or 2 liter engine on this one. I don't think that is really possible. I don't know if the crankshaft is the same. I don't know if this crankshaft is good or not. Obviously the cylinders and the pistons are different, okay? I understand that. The con rods, they are bent, so I have to put new ones. So I'm trying to play with that idea. In the meantime, in order to my engine not to have so much oil consumption, I will try to use an oil. It's not okay, I'm not solving anything, okay, but I'm trying to retain a little bit of oil consumption. I will use the 20W50 oil. In Portugal that is a bit thick oil, okay, but I spoke with Jethro on this channel, awesome guy, and on South Africa they actually use that oil on these Galbero engines. So I already purchased that oil. The oil has that lovely additive for the oil consumption, and I will try to see if my engine can at least last me a little bit longer, because I cannot do this repair right now. I'm involved with 33 restoration, and I cannot do it. I cannot do both at the same time. I barely can do the 33, let alone both of these cars. So I'll try to use that oil to see if I can drive this car on the daily basis. And yes, I drive this car on the daily basis, and at least try to eliminate some of the oil consumption, because I am actually isolating the spark plugs, and sometimes the car starts to work on only 3 or 2 cylinders. So bad stuff there. So let's see what we can do with this new oil and original filter, of course. Like you may have seen on my video how to replace your oil and oil filter properly. You may want to do this when the car is hot, not so very hot, but kind of hot. You want to do a 20-minute run with your car, and now take out the oil in the oil filter. Okay, so that is for all of the oil that is inside the engine to be as one, to be everything, not to have so many residues on the corners of the engine, to be able to try to take out all of the impurities inside of your engine. Now, this is the oil that I will use, the 20W50, and this is the additive that this oil has. This oil almost looks like old oil, but in fact it is not. This is molybdenum sulfide, I believe, and this is the original part number for the oil filter for this engine. This and the turbo diesel, oddly enough. So I bought a bunch of them for my turbo diesel and for my 75. $9. So no reason why you don't want to put the original oil filter. Make sure your old gasket does not stay on that surface there. Usually that happens on the V6's Buso, and then it's a mess. Okay, so check out if anything is on there, and put your new filter on. So how many miles, how many kilometers do you think I did with this 10W40 oil? By the way, it's the oil that I use after my engine repair. I did about 3,000 kilometers. And you may say, well, you can keep adding that 10W40 to do 5,000 kilometers, for example, and then change the oil. Yes, I could, but I thought, well, this can be like an engine cleaning on the inside. I can use this 10W40 to clean my engine. The oil that I took out is really, the viscosity is really good still. I passed the oil through my fingers, and you can only do that with mineral oil, by the way. And to appreciate the viscosity, I mean. And the viscosity is still very good. The darkness of the oil is because I already used some of this oil to do a fill up. That is why the oil was so black on the exit. And now let's try to see if this oil really can at least take out some of the consumption that I'm experiencing. With the oil pan off, when I repaired the engine, I did put 7 liters of oil inside. Now, with the pan on, only with the oil plug, I think I will be able to insert 6 liters. So a total of between a half liter and 1 liter of oil still is inside of the engine. And that raises the question, why don't we vacuum out the oil? Well, I am thinking about doing a video like that, maybe next week, maybe, because not all engines allow for you to do that. Some engines are better when the oil is vacuumed out, and some others are better when you take out the oil plug. But let's talk about that on the video for that, okay? Just to give you a heads up on that. So I'm almost there. Let's lower the car, start the engine, and see how much more do we need. And that's it. No, I know the results may be almost immediate, but I have to be patient about the smoke, because on the intake side I have an oil catch can from factory. That thing over there, yes, that is an oil catch can, but the oil that is separated on there returns to the engine block, okay? Now, all of my cars, on some form or another, have an oil catch can. Even my turbo diesel, even my Boxer engine, all Boxer engines, in fact, have that. I will explain you that when we are doing the engine on the Boxer. So, I know I have some oil residue on the intake side, and I have to be patient for all that residue to be evacuated during the working of the engine. But the oil consumption itself may be reduced drastically on the course of the next few days or weeks, unless I have really a clogged pipe somewhere on the intake ventilation. Then I can have more consumption of oil. But I believe I don't have that problem. So guys, I really hope you can appreciate my work here. I hope you can use this information on your behalf, being on Alfa 75, on Alfa 155, 156, 33, or any other brand, make or model. And I see you next time, guys. Bye.